Hi guys, my name is Karan Kumar. I am 30 years old. I live in Mumbai, India. I am an aspiring filmmaker, and here's my story. Back in 2012, 3 years ago, I was working as an assistant director in television, learning a lot and enjoying my process of working towards my goal of someday becoming a filmmaker, a director. But that's when things kind of went wrong. Towards the end of 2012, I was on my way back from work. I was driving, stuck in traffic, when I felt the sudden need, this uncontrollable urge to use the restroom. I didn't know what to do or where to go. I jumped out of the car and literally ran up to shops and stores that were around, hoping that someone would guide me to a restroom. Fortunately for me, there was a public restroom not too far from where I was, and things worked out. I didn't take this too seriously at the time, and I looked at it as a one-off situation that one could be in. But then this began to repeatedly happen, and then one day I was at home, I had the day off, and I felt this sudden spell of dizziness and anxiety. And straight away I knew that something wasn't quite right. Somehow I got through the night, and the following morning I rushed to the nearest clinic. They did their routine checkups and they said everything was fine. As days went by, this dizziness and anxiety continued to stay on, which led to fatigue and body aches. I used to be nauseous, and that kept me up all night. And so I decided to go in for a second opinion. I was then diagnosed with the condition called Irritable Bowel Syndrome. Now, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, know where I'm coming from. For those of you who don't, it's a condition to do with your digestive system. Symptoms vary from person to person, and so this was my situation. Ever since I was diagnosed, I couldn't go out anymore. I was stuck at home. I had to quit my job. The doctors said that there is no cure, but they did suggest that these symptoms and my condition could be dealt with and treated symptomatically, which I tried doing for a while. Also, along the way, certain tests were done, tests like my lipid profile, wherein my cholesterol and stuff like that was on the higher side, my blood pressure was on the higher side. Having gotten these reports, a strange sense of fear had crept in, and for some odd reason I had begun to believe that I was going to die. Eventually I was diagnosed with another condition called hypochondriasis, which is basically the fear of doomsday. This condition kept me up all night. I'd have sleepless nights. My anxiety had grown. I'd live in constant fear. I did try different streams of medication, from antidepressants to Ayurvedic, but something that did help, and I'm not being paid to say this, neither am I qualified or in a position to recommend it to anyone, but something that did help was homeopathy. My condition had improved by about 50%, and by that I mean my anxiety had vanished, touch wood. My body aches had gone, my disease spells were rare. I wasn't as nauseous as I used to be, unless a certain intake of food triggered it. But I felt a whole lot better. All that I'm left with now is my irritable bowel syndrome and the fact that I am a hypochondriac. You know, they say that it's all in your mind, but as far as my irritable bowel syndrome is concerned, I'm not too sure. I mean, there are times when I do feel that it's all in my mind. There are times that I feel that it's definitely not. There are also times when I feel that it's a bit of both. What's also difficult is to try and explain this to people, and it's equally difficult for them to understand. But don't get me wrong here. I do believe that it's easier for someone to relate to you especially when they've gone through it themselves. My situation as of now is that I've been at home, stuck at home for 3 years. I've not been able to work. I've not been able to go out, meet friends, live a normal life, and that's frustrating. It's irritating at times, but the key is to try and fight back, to try and combat the situation, for which I went out and found myself a new friend. My friend's called Juno. Juno is my van. It's a used van that I purchased with the intention of building a bathroom space in the rear end of the vehicle. I blocked out this section with curtains and I installed a camping toilet, a camping commode inside. Now, as gross as this sounds, it has helped me. And when I say that, I mean I have been able to take short drives not too far from where I stay, and to be honest, just around the block. It's not been too long since I've had the van, but I've also been able to make a 40-minute drive to visit my grandma. That was just once, but the fact that I had the confidence to do so was simply because I had the surety that I had access to a restroom if and when I need one. My goal here is to try and counter the situation, or to at least live with it, and to try and live as normal a life as possible. I'm putting this out to hopefully hear from you guys. If there are any kind of suggestions that you'd like to make or point out at something, or if there's simply something that you'd like to say, if you've gone through the same situation or you're going through the same situation, please feel free to comment below, and hopefully we can share our stories and work towards this together. So take care, and I hope to see you soon.